Welcome to the first episode of The Next Step. This podcast is intended to educate, empower, and connect those living with limb loss. My name is Kevin Gray, and I'll be your host on this journey of resilience, adaptation, and connection. This podcast is really about real stories of people who have faced limb loss and life-challenging moments, yet continue to push on. I know these stories well because I'm living one myself. Before all of this, I lived a full and active life. I was a husband, a father, a grandfather, and I even held a successful career in product marketing for a large SaaS company. My days were filled with meetings, customer calls, and product launches. Outside of work, I was always on the move, hiking, walking, bike riding, golfing, swimming. Life was good. I was healthy, or at least I thought so. But looking back, the signs were always there. I was diagnosed with diabetes at 40, but the doctors suspected I had been living with it for much longer. And by the time we caught it, the damage was already done. One of the first things to go was sensation in my feet. Diabetic neuropathy had crept in silently, numbing my lower legs and feet to the point where I could barely feel them. I did what I could. I saw a chiropodist regularly, made sure that my feet were checked. But one day, a simple, almost unnoticeable mistake changed everything. I stepped on something sharp. I don't even remember what it was, and I didn't feel it. Not at first. By the time I noticed, the damage was done. The wound had turned into a diabetic ulcer, something that's seriously difficult to heal. It became infected, and the infection quickly turned into something far more dangerous. Sepsis, that's the word that no one ever wants to hear. I was rushed to the hospital dangerously sick. When I got there, the doctors had to act fast. The infection had spread, and the priority was just keeping me alive. They pumped me full of this strong antibiotics trying to fight the infection, and it was really a battle my body just barely won. My lungs collapsed. I was moved to the ICU where I fought for every breath. For weeks it was touch and go, but somehow I pulled through and I got my lungs back. I started to stabilize, but there was another cost. The antibiotics that they gave me saved my life, but they also took something from me, and that was my kidney function. The damage was severe enough with my kidneys that I was told I would need dialysis for the foreseeable future, maybe even a kidney transplant, and that was only the beginning. The next 3 years were a long, exhausting battle to heal the wound on my foot. Doctors amputated my toes, then part of my foot, hoping to stop the infection. But no matter how hard we fought, it kept coming back. After 3 years of surgeries, treatments, and failed attempts at healing, the infection had reached my bone, osteomyelitis. At that point, I had a choice. I could keep fighting, keep trying to save what was left of my foot, or I could let it go and move on. I made the decision to amputate my left leg. It was one of the hardest decisions of my life, but once it was done, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. The battle was over, the infection was gone, my body could finally start to heal. After 8 long months in the hospital, I was finally discharged. I was ready to start outpatient rehab and rebuild my strength and get back to life. I thought I could move forward, but life had other plans. The first week back at home, I was feeling pretty good. I exercised on Tuesday and again on Thursday. Thursday, a nurse checked my right foot and noticed something small, a tiny blister. It seemed like nothing. I thought, come on, what the heck's the big deal? But the nurse told me we should keep an eye on it over the weekend, and I kind of brushed it off. However, by Sunday night, my toes had turned black. Dead tissue, it was happening again. By Monday, the doctors gave me the news. I would have to amputate my right leg. And just like that, I became a bilateral amputee. So where am I today? Well, I'm up and walking. I use a walker for distance, and short walks are still a challenge. I go to dialysis 3 times a week, and am still waiting for a kidney donor. But I'm here, and I'm alive, and I'm grateful for every single day. I wouldn't be here without the support of my incredible wife, Lisa, my children, Riley and Nathan, and my grandkids who bring me so much joy in my life. My friends and family, and even my dog Jasmine, they keep me going. I'm not working anymore, but I still dabble in computer programming and some product marketing for fun. And while I haven't gotten back on the golf course yet, I'm working on it. I wanted to share my story today, not just to introduce myself, but to set the stage for this podcast and what it's really about, and that's connection. I know that I'm not the only one that's gone through something like this. There are thousands and thousands of people who have experienced limb loss, who have had to rebuild their lives after illness or injury, who are still figuring out what comes next. This podcast, The Next Step, is about sharing those stories. It's about giving a voice to people who have faced life-altering challenges and found a way forward. It's about learning from each other, supporting each other, and reminding each other that we're not alone. So if you have a story to share, if you've faced limb loss and you want to talk about it, reach out. I'd love to hear from you because every journey is difficult, but one thing remains the same. We all have to take the next step. I'll be talking with other incredible people who have faced adversity, sharing their journeys, their struggles, and their victories. Remember, life doesn't end with limb loss. It changes, it challenges us, but it doesn't stop. The only thing we can do is keep moving forward, one step at a time. I'm Kevin Gray, and this is The Next Step. Until the next time, take care, stay strong, and keep moving forward.